Hare Krishna everyone for joining today for our regular Bhagavad Gita class, Friday Bhagavad Gita class. Today we are reading from chapter 5, verse number 16. Before that, we will just do little bit. Hare Krishna everyone for joining today for our. We will just do some kirtan for the glorification of the Lord. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, भगवद गीता की जय. We will just do Mangalacharana. Om Ajnanam Timidandasya Jnananjala Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी परमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. भूते मद्भिर्हिमा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमूषपुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणाशो दशात्मकं सोऽलङ्कशिष्टं भगवान् वचांसि मे. श्रीकृष्ण शरणागतं कथामृतं सततपिबतं भक्तिवेदान्त मार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन प्रसन्नम, सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन प्रसन्नम. So Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 5, verse number 16 onwards. So 5.16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita 5.16. ज्ञानेन तु यद् अज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मना तेषाम् आदित्यवद् ज्ञानं प्रकाश्यति तत्परम्. Anyone wants to repeat? Any problem?
ज्ञानेन तु तद् अज्ञानं येषां नाशितम् आत्मना तेषाम् आदित्यवज ज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you.
ज्ञानेन तु तज्ज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषाम् आदित्यवज् ज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
Word to word. Jnanena, by knowledge. Tu, but. Tat, that. Ajnanam, the science. yesham, whose, nashitam, nashitam is destroyed, atmana of the living entity, tesham their, aditya vat, like the rising sun, jnanam knowledge, prakashyati discloses, tat param Krishna consciousness. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Purport. Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered, but those who are in Krishna consciousness are not bewildered at all. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvam Gyan Palvena Jnanadhishasar Karmani and Nahi Jnanin Sadrisham. Knowledge is always highly esteemed. And what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna, as it is said in the 7th chapter, 19th verse. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapaddate. After passing through many births, when one perfect in knowledge surrenders unto Krishna, or when one attains Krishna consciousness, then everything is relieved to him. As everything is relieved by the sun in the daytime, the living entity is bewildered in so many ways. For instance, when he unceremoniously thinks himself God, he actually falls into the last snare of nescience. If a living entity is God, then how can he become bewildered by nescience? Does God become bewildered by nescience? If so, then nescience or Satan is greater than God. Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master and under him learn what Krishna consciousness is, for Krishna consciousness will certainly drive away all nescience, as the sun drives away darkness. Even though a person may be in full knowledge that he is not this body, but is transcendental to the body, he still may not be able to discriminate between the soul and the supersoul. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect bona fide Krishna consciousness spiritual master. One can know God and one's relationship with God only when actually meets a representative of God. A representative of God never claims that he is God, although he is paid all the respect ordinarily paid to the God because he has knowledge of God. One has to learn the distinction between God and the living entity. Lord Shri Krishna therefore stated in the 2nd chapter that every living being is individual and that the Lord also is individual. They were all individuals in the past, they are individuals at present, and they will continue to be individuals in the future, even after liberation. At night, we see everything as one in the darkness, but in day, when the sun is up, we see everything in its real identity, which individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Vedanta Course ki jai. So I will repeat again the verse 5.16. Jnanena tu yad jnanam yesham nashmita atmana tesham aditya yad jnanam prakashyati tatparam. So first of all, we are just is my screen is still sharing or not? Okay.
No, Mataji.
Now
Yes, now we can see.
Okay. So first of all, we will just do a little bit recap what we have learned until now in chapter number 5. So we have seen that the name of the chapter is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. And as we all know that Arjuna, he was confused from the beginning, and he was asking Krishna that like so many questions he was asking. And in this chapter, in the starting of this chapter, he was asking that you please tell me which one is better. Is work in devotion is better, or work or renounced work, that one is better? And then Krishna, he replied him that work in devotion is better than work in renunciation. And also he asked him, also Krishna, he mentioned that the person who is a pure soul, or who controls his mind and his senses, and then he is dear to him. And also he mentioned in one of the verses that who performs his duty without attachment, and also he fully surrendered to Krishna, then he is dear to Krishna. And also in the last three verses we did last time, he mentioned about the three types of doers. Like one was Paramatma, Atma, and another was material nature. And in the last class, I told about there is a triangle, that there is a living entity, there is a Paramatma, and then there is a material nature. So this is very important chapter for all of us to learn. Like now in this chapter, Krishna is actually explaining that how we can live in this world, and how we can work in this world, and also how we can become liberated. So many people, they think that liberation means just stop working and going to the forest. You just go to the forest and you just take sannyasa from everything. You don't do anything. But no, Krishna, he explains something very practical in this chapter. In the last few verses, like we have seen that he told us about the three types of doers, like the living entities. What they do, they desire the things, and then Krishna, he sanctions it. And when Krishna sanctions it, and then with the help of material nature actually helps to facilitate. Like material nature helps how we can fulfill our desires. So these three things are very important. And at the end, we also concluded that we are the culprit because we desire things. So how we can stop desiring? Why we have so many desires? Firstly, we are in this material world because of our desires. So because we in the now in this verse, Krishna, he is mentioning that because of ignorance we are suffering in this world, in this material world, because we are we don't have knowledge, and we are ignorance. Because of ignorance we are in this material world, we are stuck here. And what is the best solution? How we can get out from the ignorance? By getting knowledge, by getting knowledge about spiritual life. And slowly when we get the knowledge, then what will happen? Our ignorance will be removed. So as also it is mentioned in verse chapter number 4, verse number 36, it is mentioned here that api chatsi papebhyo sarva papebhye papakritama, and sarvam gyan palvena virijinam santrishri. So it is said that even you are considered, like if you are so sinful, if you are so sinful and you do all the time sinful activities, but when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, then what will happen? Then you can cross the ocean of material world, then you can cross the ocean of miseries. So Srila Prabhupada actually, he most of the time he always emphasized on one point. He said the real problem of this life is ignorance. Like we think that real problem is in material world, we think it's a poverty, like, or lack of education, or lack of facilities. Like we can see that the person, if they are poor, still they can survive, still they can eat three times food. If they don't have education, if they're illiterate, still they can manage, they can work. There are so many other works where you don't need education. No, lack of facilities. So facilities means, like some people, like the rich people, they have so many things. Like they have nice TV, they have a beautiful house, they have a beautiful car. But some poor people, they have lack of facilities. They can survive. Still they survive when they're Like if they don't have anything, still they can live a good life. Like, it is said that in India, when the mango season comes, the person who is very rich, he can eat mangoes 500 rupees kg as well. And the person who is very poor, he can also eat mangoes by 10 rupees kg. So like, there is so much difference. There is so much difference between the people, poor people, uh, and the rich people. So the real problem is our ignorance, avidya. And what is the main, Prabhupada always he emphasized it, that ignorance means like who we are. Most of the time we think we are this body, but most of the time we think we are this body, or these things are mine, this is my position, this is my prestige. So we always think about all these things, like, if I have this one, then I will feel more enjoy. If I feel happiness, oh, this is my enjoyment. So always we have thinking about ourselves. And from that, what happens, misunderstandings comes. Like what type of misunderstandings? Like we feel attachment. Like if we get something, then we are attached to that one. Suppose I have a car, I get attachment with that car. Or if I have a nice watch, I get attached with that one. Then second thing we can get is anxiety. What anxiety means, like, suppose I don't have that thing and another Mataji has that sari, then I feel anxiety. Oh, why she is having so much. And then if I don't get it, that sari, then I will get more angry. So all these things are coming because of our ignorance. And then if some people are like, we feel jealous. If someone gets something else extra more than us, then we feel jealous. And then sometimes what we do, we always fear. We always thinking, oh, maybe someone will steal my car, or maybe someone will steal my job, or maybe they will tell me tomorrow, okay, you don't come to the work. So always we have a fear. So Krishna says that we are not this body, but we are soul. And Srila Prabhupada, he always says that, a dog is thinking I am a dog, and a human person is thinking that I am a human being. It means both are in ignorance. We don't have any knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita is not, like, we can say that Bhagavad Gita is not a book, religious book. It is a science of removing ignorance. How we can remove our ignorance? Everything is written in this Bhagavad Gita. And in this verse, Krishna has given a beautiful example. He said that knowledge acts like a sun. Like the sun, the sun does not struggle with darkness. Like, if there is a darkness, then what happens? When simply the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. It doesn't stay there. Similarly, we don't overcome with Maya simply by willpower. We overcome Maya through hearing Bhagavad Gita or chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Or next, we can serve the devotees. When we are serving the devotees, then the Maya will go. Or receiving spiritual knowledge in disciplic succession. It is mentioned like, it's not that you can make guru anywhere and everywhere. So we should choose our spiritual master when in a disciplic succession, whatever is going through in our parampara. So this verse, it explains us the knowledge, it destroys ignorance, just as a light destroys darkness. Or we know that there is a beautiful verse as well, that Krishna hoy Surya Sama, Maya hai Andhakar, Jahan Krishna, Tahan nahi Maya Adhikar. So wherever is Krishna, there is no Maya. So now it is our choice what we want. We want Maya or we want Krishna. And wherever there is a sunlight, then the darkness cannot be remain there. That is sure. Like, so what happens, when there is a darkness, what happens to us? We feel fear. We feel awe. We imagine ghost, or maybe someone will be there. We feel scared. But as soon as the sun rises, all the darkness disappears and we feel very, very happy. But Prabhupada said that you don't need to push the darkness out with a broom. In one of the lecture, he said you don't need to push darkness out with a broom. You just need to fight it. But we have to do only we just open the window. We should just open the window, the sunlight will come inside. So similarly, we have lust, we have anger, we have greed, we have fear, we have anxiety. So these are all actually the byproducts of ignorance. So when we come into Krishna consciousness, then what will happen? Naturally, slowly, all these things will be reduced. So it is very important. In one of the lectures, Devkinandan Prabhuji, mostly I have seen, he gives this example that whenever we are in Krishna Katha, whenever we come to the program, what happens? Then we don't fear anything. There is no anxiety, and we don't feel any anger, which is true. Whenever we go to the program, all these things, that doesn't come close to us. Why? Because we are always close to Krishna at that time, because we are hearing Krishna Katha. So all these things, they are scared from Krishna. So Prabhupada has given so many examples, like we can take another example, like dust on a mirror. Prabhupada, he said that, the mirror is already shining, but it is covered with dust. So what happened, we know the verse as well, Cheto Darpan Majanam. So what happened? There is a dust on a mirror, and we can't see ourselves into that mirror. So what we have to do? We have to clean that mirror. Similarly, our soul, it is very pure by nature. We are not sinful by birth, or we are not sinful by constitution. What happened? But the ignorance covers us, and ignorance covers our real identity. So how we can remove the dust from the mirror? By reading Bhagavad Gita. We can chant Krishna's name. We can associate with the devotees. Then what will happen? Slowly, that dust will be cleansed. So this is not actually artificial thing. It is a natural purification, we can say. Like we can take another example. Like suppose there is a fire and a wood. So what happens? Like fire जो है, like fire is already present in wood. So what we should do? We just burn the wood. If we burn the wood, the fire will come out. So similarly, every one of us have knowledge within our soul, but what happened? It is dormant. It is not alive, we can say. So what we should do? We should do bhakti yoga. With the bhakti yoga, or when we do bhakti, or when we come into Krishna consciousness, then it ignites that fire. That fire comes out. So liberation is not something new for us. It is not imported from outside. Actually, it is also not created by meditation. It is said that liberation is revealed when ignorance is destroyed. So when that ignorance will be finished, then we can get knowledge from and now the question also comes in this verse, as it is mentioned that uh, Krishna consciousness, therefore one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master. So how, from where we can get this knowledge? Now the question comes, from whom we can get knowledge? So we can get the knowledge from the person who have that knowledge. And who is that person? Like, is our spiritual master. Like, they have seen the truth. They whole day and night, they're just doing preaching, they're just chanting Krishna's name. So also it is mentioned in Guru Vandana that Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma Bandhu Mohi Savadhan Mate जहरा प्रसादे भाए हे भगतोरिया जाए कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होते. So it is mentioned that the lotus feet of spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain or attain whatever pure devotion service. So if we don't have spiritual master, then I I think we can't do progress in our devotion life. So only with the help of spiritual master, one can understand actually the relationship between God and himself. Also, it is mentioned that the God's representative, they never think that they are God. Once I was hearing in one of the lecture, one of the disciple of Prabhupada told Prabhupada, "You are God." So Prabhupada said, "No, I am not a God. I am representative of Krishna. But in this Kali Yuga, we have seen that every day there is one God. People, they say, mostly they claim that, oh, I am God. And then Prabhupada, he used to say that, when people they say I am God, Prabhupada said, okay, ask them if they can pick up the Govardhan hill on their pinky finger. If they can, if they want to claim that they are God, they should show some, pastimes. And also, I was hearing in one of the lecture, they were saying that once what happened, one person, he came to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, I am God. And Prabhupada said, yeah, yes, very good, you're God. And then they were talking for a long time. And then later on, that person said, oh, I have to go to the toilet. And Prabhupada said, yeah, it's outside, you can go to the toilet. And as soon as he went to the toilet, Prabhupada, he closed the door from the outside. And when he finished, he started knocking the door, open the door. And Prabhupada said, you were claiming that you are a god. What happened now? Why you can't, like Prabhupada said, you can't control the demand of material nature, and you're saying that you're God. So, but he said, no, no, Prabhupada, still I am God. Prabhupada said, now you have to accept it that you're not a God. Then I am going to open the door. So like this, in this material world, people, they think that we are God. And recently, when Lal Govind Prabhuji, he came, he was also mentioning in one of, he said that um, one day he took the yatra to South India, and then he said, oh, while doing the yatra, they saw there was a board. It was written that Kalki Avatar lives here, or something. Come and take darshan of Kalki Avatar. And Prabhuji said, okay, after finishing our yatra, we will come and we will take darshan of Kalki Avatar. So like, people, they're just claiming like that, that the Kalki Avatar, and it is mentioned in Bhagavatam when Kalki Avatar will be appeared, and what will happen at that time, and what are the dates and all that. Everything is written uh, in Bhagavatam. But people, they are just making fun that, oh, I am God, or they're just claiming the wrong things. So we can see that in this verse, Krishna has told us ki, firstly, like how we can remove our ignorance by getting some knowledge. Then from whom we can get that knowledge? From our spiritual master. And how you can claim someone as your spiritual master in disciplic succession. And also, it is mentioned that the God is individual. And also, why God is individual? Because it is mentioned here in the purport that Krishna is individual, and also all the living entities, they are also individual. Why now living entities are individual? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that Mame Vansho Jileka, that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. So now we will go to next verse number 17. Tad buddhastad atmanas. Sorry. Tannishthastatparayana gachanti yapun avritam jnanam nirdut kalmasha. Anyone wants to repeat?
Tadbuddhyastad atmanas tannishthasthatparayanah gachanti apunaravruttim jnana nirudha kalmashaha.
Word to word. Tad buddhe, those whose intelligence is always in supreme. Tad atmana, those whose minds are always in the supreme. Tat nishtha, those whose faith is only meant for supreme. Tat parayana, who have completely taken shelter of him. Gachanti, go. Apun avritam, to liberation. Jnanana, jnana, by knowledge. Nirdhuta, cleansed. And kalmasha, misgivings. Translation. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge, and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The supreme transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. Bhagwan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the last word in absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Mata Parantaram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi Pratisthaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the supreme reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything. Concerning transcendence, a Krishna consciousness person can thoroughly understand that there is a duality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. So we can see in verse number 17, it's mentioned that those whose intelligence is always in supreme, whose mind, whose faith and refuge are all fixed in supreme, become purified and reach the supreme destination. So now, now the question can come like, why we are doing all these studies? Like, what we want to actually get it by study all this Bhagavad Gita course, and we are doing reading, studying Bhagavad Gita every week. So what will happen? It is mentioned in the purport that when we study, what will happen so that we can become fully cleansed. When we get knowledge, then we can fix all the problems of this material world. It is mentioned here that intelligence, refugee, always in other words, undoubtedly washed clean all the misgivings and in perfect knowledge in everything. So we can see that what happens actually when we have doubts in our life, we have doubts. So what we do, we turn back towards Krishna. We don't look towards Krishna. And then what happens? We forced to forget our real identity. And then we are captured by Maya. Then Maya jhapat lete hai. Prabhuji, he always uses jhapat Maya. So like always, Maya is always standing there. As soon as you are away from Krishna, Maya will capture you. So what is the process of liberation? It is mentioned first we get knowledge, and then we turn towards the God. We turn our face towards the God. And this is very important verse actually. It is mentioned here that there are 4 pillars of spiritual life. First is intelligence. Second is mind, then faith, and then refuge. So first is our intelligence. So what is intelligence means? Sometimes we think that only when we are getting money, we're going to work, we're getting money, we are looking after our family, that is real intelligence. Or sometimes people think, okay, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am on a higher position, so that is called real intelligence. But no, what is real intelligence by Prabhupada? Prabhupada is saying that how we can remember Krishna in every situation. That is real intelligence actually. How we can remember Krishna all the time. That is real intelligence. So this means the devotee, mostly devotee, they understand that what is favorable for bhakti and what is unfavorable for bhakti. It is mentioned that anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam arakshati vishvasho gopatitve varnam tatha atmanikshep karpane sadvida sharanagati. So there are 6 types of surrender is mentioned in this verse. It said firstly, accept those things which are good for Krishna consciousness. Reject those things which are not good for Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna will give you the protection. Rakshati iti Vishwasho. Then acceptance of Lord as your guardian or master. Krishna is your master. Then Shadvida Shanagati, and fully surrender with humility. So if we have all these 6 things, then we can surrender to Krishna. Because if intelligence is fixed, then the people, they can't confuse. Like then we will not be confused. If our intelligence, Krishna is saying that give me your buddhi. It doesn't mean ki buddhi nikal ke de. Buddhi means Krishna is saying just apply your intelligence into me. But we apply our intelligence into different ways. Krishna is saying, okay, just remember, just chant my names. And we think, why we should chant? Like yesterday someone was asking me the question, why you have to chant numbers? Why you count numbers 16? Like we are just using our intelligence into the different questions and different answers. But if whatever is written in Bhagavad Gita, like it is a, they say that Bhagavad Gita is the manual for life. So if in Bhagavad Gita it is written you have to chant, you have to chant. Why we question on that one? Why we chant? Why we chant number 16? Why we do this? Why we read only Bhagavad Gita? So if this is our scriptures, whatever is written in our scriptures, if we are not going to follow that one, then how we can do our devotion service nicely, And second is mind. What is mind means? Mind is mana. The mind is always, we know, it is flickering, it is restless. We know that in 1 minute we can go and do world tour and then come back. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, it is hard to control mind. But what we should do, we should still try. We should still try, and one day we can control mind. But the mind becomes peaceful when it gets a higher taste. And what is the higher taste for mind? When we chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Also, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and that Bandhur Atmanastasya, that was Yenatmatma Jin, what was that? Atmanajita Anantatma Sushattave Vartam Atmai Shatruvata. So they say that for him who has conquered the mind is the best friend. And also, if you can't conquer your mind, then mind is your enemy. He is the greatest enemy. So we can see that how we can control our mind. We know if you are in Krishna consciousness, you can engage your mind or your senses into the service of Krishna, like by doing kirtan, by doing japa, by making prasadam, offer that prasadam to Krishna, by doing satsang or just do kirtan, as we do the program, just go and do the service into the temple or just do service at home. So Krishna consciousness is not an easy thing. Like you have to do so many things, and also it is a practical engagement. You can't say that you are not doing anything, you're not chanting, you're not reading, and then you're saying you're in Krishna consciousness. You can't say like that, because it is all practical things. You have to do those things to get the taste. And if I will say, oh, I'm just offering the prasadam to Krishna from the shops, no, you will not get that taste. By making with your hands and by offering that nice prasadam to Krishna, then you feel happiness. That is called Krishna consciousness. So next one is faith. That it's also called Shraddha. So faith is very, very important. If you don't have faith, then everything is zero. If you don't have faith, there is no intelligence, there is no mind. So first thing is we should have faith in Krishna. Like we can take one example, like suppose you're in an aeroplane, and whenever we go to India or any other city, we have faith on the pilot. That pilot will take us like safely to our destination. So we have a faith. That's why we go to the plane. Imagine if you don't have faith, can you survive in that plane for 14 hours going to India? No. We will be dying. Oh, I don't know, pilot will be doing this, pilot. Like you can't, you have to have faith on pilot, then you can go. Similarly, we should have faith on Krishna. Yes, Krishna is Rakshati iti Vishwasho. Krishna is going to look after me. Krishna is my master. Krishna is guiding my life. They say what is faith means actually that Krishna is guiding my life even when I don't understand his plan. We don't know what is Krishna's next plan, and but we have a faith that okay, Krishna is my life. Krishna is he is guiding my life. So faith makes actually devotee very steady. Or without faith, The small problems, they shake us. And with faith, if we have faith, then even the big problems comes, they purify us. So that is very, very important. Also, it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in one of the verse that those whose faith is deep and who have practiced controlling their mind and senses, they attain divine knowledge. So this is very, very important for all of us. And through that knowledge, what will happen? They will quickly attain Krishna. That is very, very important. So we should have faith in um, Krishna. And in one of the verse, I think in third chapter or fourth chapter, it is say, Arshidhanaya Purusha Dharmasya Yasya Parantapa Aprape Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsar Vartmani. So Krishna is mentioning in this verse that those who are not faithful, very important the word, not faithful, those who are not faithful in devotion service, they cannot attain me. So Krishna, he knows that what type of people he is going to find in this material world. So he's saying those who are not faithful, they cannot cannot attain me. So but what will happen to those people? They will again come mrityu samsar vatmani. They will again come back into this material world in the cycle of death, birth, old age, and disease. And next world is our faith refuse. What is refuse means? Means parayana. Parayana means, that is very, very important. For each and every activity, Krishna should be center. So in this world, what we do, what most of the time, in which activity we take shelter, like money. We want money. We want to become beautiful. We want to have all the powers in this world. We want all the relationships, you know, we want all the material success. We want everything to grab. Okay, if I'm lacking or anything, or then someone else is getting, why I am not getting? So we feel very anxious. Okay, why not me? And if something happens bad to us, then we again blame to Krishna, why me? So but all these shelters are temporary. This is not permanent. Our devotee takes shelter only with Krishna. That is why it is said that Krishna says that such a soul becomes purified and reaches him if that soul takes shelter from me. So when we take shelter from Krishna, then we will get purified, and then we can go back to Godhead. And Prabhupada, he gave a very nice example actually in one of the lectures. He said that maybe you're in a very fast train. We can take example, like suppose you're going into a fast train, but it is going into the wrong direction, or you don't know the destination. Then what is the use of that train? Similarly, like we have big brains, we have sharp intelligence, maybe we are good learner, but it does not if it doesn't lead to Krishna, then everything is zero. It means we are misusing our intelligence. So that is very, very important. And also Prabhupada, he gave one more example. He said, like suppose there is a fish, it's a fish tank, it's made of with gold, and everywhere is gold, and the diamonds are there. It's a very beautiful fish tank. But if there is no water, then what is the use of that fish tank? What will happen? The fish will die. So similarly, our soul, the natural environment for the soul is to serve Krishna. Without feel, what happens? We feel restless. We feel we don't feel satisfied. So what we should do actually? We should engage our senses, our mind into the service of Krishna, so that we can go a little bit closer to Krishna. So we can see, like now in verse number 5.16 and also in 5.17, what happened now. So firstly, we see that ignorance is destroyed by knowledge. Yes. And then secondly, we see that knowledge must be centered to Krishna in verse number 17. So we can see that knowledge without Krishna is incomplete. And Srila Prabhupada has said that, the person after studying Vedanta or after studying Bhagavad Gita, if they don't surrender to Krishna, it means they have understood nothing. So now what we have to do, we have to slowly we have to start surrendering towards Krishna. So how we can fix our intelligence to Krishna in this Kali Yuga? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because what happens when we chant Hare Krishna, then the sound vibration, it goes into our ears and it cleans our heart. So like, sometimes people they say, oh, I don't know this mantra. It's all right if you don't know. It's just like a medicine. You don't know all the medicine, or sometimes you have to take medicine, but you don't know from which chemist or which what they call medical center, which chemist it came from. So similarly, the mantra is so powerful. We have to just chant Krishna's name all the time. So main thing is hearing. Hearing is most very important. So now we can do, I think, another verse as well. We still have 9 minutes. Verse number 18. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. This verse is very important. Word to word. Vidya, with education. Vinay, and gentleness. Sampanne, fully equipped. Brahmane, in Brahmana. Gavi, in the cow. Hastini, in the elephant. Suni, in the dog. Cha, and Eva, certainly. Swapake, in the dog eater. Pandita, those who are wise. Samadarshina, who see with the equal vision. The humble sages, by the virtue of true knowledge, see the equal vision, a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. A Krishna consciousness person does not make any distinction between species of or caste. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the point of view of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different caste and different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma, regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in an outcast in the Brahmana, although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different nodes of material nature, but the soul and the supersoul within the body are the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, does not make them equal in quantity. For the individual soul is present only in the particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna consciousness person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and supersoul are that they are both consciousness, eternal and blissful. But the difference is that individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is consciousness of all the bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. So we can see that in this verse, Krishna has given actually you can say the fruit for spiritual knowledge. So when we get the knowledge, then what happens? It is said Vidya means knowledge. When we get the knowledge, what happens? Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastani. Sampanne means he get gentleness, or Vinay means he get humbleness. So when we get the knowledge, we become humble. So we can take example of a tree. When a tree he gets so many mangoes or so many fruits, then what happens? It goes down. It doesn't stand still. So what happens? It means when we get the more and more knowledge, then we should have humbleness actually. Similarly, we can take example of sun, or what happens with the sun. Sun does not discriminate with anyone. Whether it's a urine or whether it's a water, he sun dries both the things. So similarly, it is mentioned here, the humble sage, by the virtue of um, true knowledge, see equal vision, a learned and a gentleman Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog eater. So it is mentioned that the actually very important verse, and it is mentioned that we can see that a humble sage, if you get the knowledge, you get humbleness. So, but with the humbleness, what he sees, whether it's a brahmana, a cow, an elephant, he look everyone as a samdarshana. Samdarshana means with the equal vision. They don't discriminate with anything. So everything is the same. Like there is no difference between whether you see a dog or whether you see a dog with a. So why he can't see? Because they say that they see that the soul inside everybody, because soul is in everybody's uh, 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 like uh, like whether it's a dog or whether it's a person. So that is called actually real knowledge. Like they say that the owner of Apple, iApple, what's his name, Steve. So once he write down that, he said that person should be hungry and he should be foolish to get knowledge. Why hungry? He should be hungry so that he can get knowledge, and he should be foolish so that he can become humble. After getting knowledge, we should not be proud. Oh, I know so much and all that. and and we should see each and everyone with the equal things, like because everyone has a Paramatma in their heart. Like I think everyone knows that story. There was a scorpion, and he was drowning in a river, and one brahmana, he tried to save him. He took the scorpion off from the water and put it on the ground, and then the scorpion bite that brahmana. So few times he does all these things, and then at the end he tried to put him back on the out of the river. And then one person, he was looking, and then he said, why you're doing, because he is biting you all the time. He said, this is his nature, he is biting me, but this is my nature is humbleness. I don't want him to be drawn. So that's why, because that brahmana has seen in scorpion, like in that soul also he can see Krishna. So similarly, what happened when we have equal vision, then we become humble, we should become compassionate, we should respect each and everyone. And when all these things happens, then the devotee, they don't judge other people by wealth or by caste or by background. Because what happened, everyone is Krishna's part and parcel. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as well. ममे वांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मना षष्ठानि इंद्रियाणि प्रकृति स्थानि कशति. So Vidya Vinay Sampani means the wise devotee is gentle, humble, and purified. So we should learn from everyone, that whether it's a child or whether it's an animal, whether it's elder people, we should learn from them. Whatever they are giving us the knowledge, we should take it as well. So we can see now the all three verses are actually interrelated. Firstly was the how ignorance is destroyed. Secondly is how a devotee becomes fixed in Krishna consciousness. And now if he becomes in Krishna consciousness, he should become Samadarshina. He should have equal vision for each and everyone. So Krishna gives us a complete, like progression. He's told us, okay, you got the knowledge now. So when you got the knowledge, because if you have knowledge, then the person becomes intelligence, um, and then he can take shelter with Krishna. So we can see now what we can do now at the end. Like from all these three verses, we can take away is this, that we should read, we can take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, we should take shelter for holy name, and also we should have uh, good association, and we should always ready for doing service. And in the morning I was just hearing one lecture, they said always remember three types of S. First is service, second is sincerity, and third is surrender. So if we remember all these three S, then what will happen? We will be Krishna will personally lift us from ignorance, and then he will purify us. Then he will give us a equal vision, and then we can go back to Godhead. So Hare Krishna, thank you everyone for joining, and Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you everyone.
Her Grace Savior Radhika Mataji ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Prabhu.
much for nice class.
Of all Prabhupada's mercy, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.